for now for a third time. Peace be with you.
And also with you.
So good to have you here on this day. Welcome back, and I want to find out how your summer went. Did anybody here travel this summer, maybe to sandy shores of Michigan? Just ran. Okay, yeah, somebody did. Anybody go to Maine? Excellent. Anybody go to Greece? Yes, some people go to Greece. These are just totally random guesses on my part. So hopefully you had a wonderful, relaxing summer. Or what word would you use to describe your summer? Would it be stressful? Busy? Were you anxious? Was it very, did you learn a lot? Think of one word that describes your summer.
Mixed bag.
Mixed bag. And then share it with the person next to you. Ready? Go. Share it now. A lot of stressful times, I have to put time in Shaman and in Ecuador and what you do? Busy. Okay. So both as Chip read for us from the cave, and as Bill read for us here, Jesus was also going on vacation, just like we went on vacation, some of us, this summer. Jesus was exhausted. He needed a break. Everybody wanted to be healed. Everybody wanted to hear this new teaching. And he couldn't get a break. Jesus just couldn't get a break. So he actually went to an exotic foreign location. He went out of the country. Some of us have gone out of the country too. And he went to a vacation spot in this foreign land in the region of Tyre, a place full of strangers so no one would recognize him. He could kind of chill in his Airbnb right there on the coast. Maybe that was the secret photo that I had ahead of time. Maybe it was where Jesus was on vacation. So there he was, because he wasn't famous there, but even though he's at a secret foreign Airbnb for his break, people know him. He's so famous. The word has gotten out of his home country, and this foreigner, someone who doesn't even worship God the right way, finds him. She's desperate. Her daughter's sick. And she has an unclean spirit, and the woman's being cut off, separated. Her daughter's going to die. And so she bursts into the vacation home. She interrupts his vacation, comes in, and bows on the ground, begs Jesus to heal the daughter, and Jesus says, "Let the children be fed first, for it's not fair to take the children's food and throw it before the dogs." The dog. Isn't that sweet, caring Jesus? Wonderful Jesus, yes. So I think back, and when I had my twin daughters and they were in high chairs, they started a game because they would have Cheerios on the high chair, and they maybe spill some on the floor, and our dog, Rua, loved that. It would be like manna coming down from heaven. And whenever a chair would fall over, I would say, "Uh-oh." And children learn quickly. So they learn how to pick up the Cheerio, hold it over, look at me, smile, say, "Uh-oh," and drop it. More manna coming down. Rua just loved that. But we have to listen to how Jesus was insulting this woman. This was a slam. A dog was not a nice term to say. Even though I have a very nice picture of my grand dog on the front cover, that is Scout. This is a picture of Scout right here. Scout's a little bit bigger right now, like 5 times bigger. And but to call someone as a dog is a slam. It's an insult. Jesus is insulting her. The prophets of Israel would sometimes call the foreigners, people who are not worshiping, they would call them dogs. There's the people of God, and there's dogs. They're not children of God. They don't deserve a seat at the table. I don't know about you. I'm very uncomfortable with the way Jesus is speaking right here in Holy Scripture. This makes me very uncomfortable, this Scripture. Jesus is the one who shows us the way of living in the world. This makes me uncomfortable. And now he says to the woman, you are a dog. And many philosophers and theologians over the centuries they're also uncomfortable with this piece of Scripture. They're very uncomfortable. And so some people have books of explanations trying to make it sound nicer. They say, well, okay, first it's the children of God, and then the other people, the dogs. And quite frankly, that's just what Jesus and his mission is. It seems to be first to the children of God, and then the people on the inside who already know God. So the question before us today and from the Scriptures, who does deserve a place at the table? Who deserves a place at that table? To me, Jesus is clearly saying, the dogs don't. I don't know how you read that. That's pretty clear what he's saying. They're outsiders. They don't belong. I don't know if you've sometimes felt like you're an outsider. I had an experience in the 6th grade when I really felt like an outsider. My hometown, Westwood, put together the first ever boys 6th grade soccer team. And I was really excited. We're all excited about it. The kids from the other part of town, and we all got together at the new 6th grade school, Colburn School. And this would be the first official time we'd all be together. And our trials went for a whole week. We'd be running up and down the field with Coach Niles. In the end of the week, Coach Niles set us down on the floor, and he paced back and forth as he talked to us and said, boys, I want you to select the team yourself. You've seen how people have been running this week and passing the ball back and forth, and I want to have you vote by secret ballot who gets to be on the first ever 6th grade boys soccer team. What could possibly go wrong? Right? A vote. So there we are. And at this point, I gave up hope. I was much heavier than all the other boys. They could run faster. They were stronger than I was. Well, I knew how to play soccer. I knew I was not considered to be a good athlete. I just knew that. I called myself fat and slow. And the votes came in, and he read off all the names. I was on the team. I made it. Wasn't that great? Yeah, a couple of people clapped back then too. Yeah, I was so happy, but Coach Niles was not happy. And so he said, boys, you picked a great team, except for one person. And at this point, he walked over to where I was and also on the floor, and he's looking down at me. It says, except for one person, this is a great team. Let's vote again. So we all vote by secret ballot again. And I only knew half the guys from my side of the town. I'm like, oh, this is horrible. And I just wanted to run and hide, but where do you go? You're on a floor in an auditorium or gym, and I had to stay there on the floor. And so we voted again. He read out the results. He came down to the last name. It was me. I was on the team again. Yes. Coach Niles at this point walked over to where I was sitting on the floor. And Coach Niles said to everybody, and I can't believe he really said this, but he said to all the boys there, said, do you really want Eric on your team? So he said, there are a lot of boys here that are quicker than him, and you didn't choose them, and he named the boys that were quicker than me, and they were quicker. And he said, let's vote again so we can have the best team possible. I'm feeling a little bit like an outsider.
Yeah.
So for the third time we voted, and for the third time all the secret ballots were collected, and for the third time, Coach Downs began reading off the names of the boys and the best athletes first, etc. And he hesitated as he came to the last name. It was like he had difficulty swallowing. In my sixth grade boy mind, I'm still, some things he could see so clearly. It's like he couldn't say it. And then he mentioned my name. I was on the team. He obviously did not want me on the team. He benched me for the whole year. I remained an outsider, even on that team. So I have to confess today, I did not go on and become an international soccer star. I didn't learn those skills. And yet, even in the sixth grade, publicly humiliated by my coach, publicly humiliated before all the boys in town, I really did have a place at the table. I was a healthy American white male in a good school, loved and nurtured by my family who saved up money and sent me to college. But still, I had a taste. What is it like to be an outsider and not have a place at the table? Who gets to be the children? Who gets to be the dogs? Now, the Greek word used in the New Testament to describe the nasty foreign dogs is kuves, but Jesus here uses the diminutive form. He says kuvarios, puppies. He's saying puppies. So some commentators say, well, Jesus is being playful here, calling the woman a puppy. Invite her into conversation. But whether the word is dog or puppy, there is a tradition in Israel of give and take, even in conversation with God, even with God's prophets and special messengers. And in fact, the word Israel means the one who strives or argues with God. This is a special place to be in, to arguing. Like, maybe this is the way things should be. You should be Israel. You should be striving. You should be arguing. Like the prophets, maybe we are supposed to argue about the way things are. The Reformation theologian Martin Luther says we're supposed to pay attention to this woman in Scripture, from the part that makes me feel really uncomfortable. He says, pay attention when Jesus calls her a dog. She is the one who teaches us how to pray. She is the one who teaches us how to live. Not sitting back and saying, oh, I guess I'm a little puppy dog, but coming right back, arguing, Israel, striving, taking him on. She dares to approach Jesus after being called a dog in front of all the disciples, maybe a little bit like my soccer experience, maybe not, but being called a dog in front of all these people there. And when Jesus says, well, let the children be fed first, for it's not fair to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs, she comes back, she argues back, she's struggling here. She says, but Lord, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. And what happens next is absolutely amazing. I'm just amazed by it. Even right now. Jesus, the Son of God, who shows us the way of the living, Jesus changes his mind. Isn't that wonderful? You struggle, you argue, you don't like the way things are, the way God has set it up, and God says, you're right. We got to change. So centuries of protocol and traditions are suddenly overturned. Her daughter's healed. Foreigners are now welcome at the table. Strangers are now welcome at the table of God. Now they are the children of God. Women are welcome. Outsiders are now welcome. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? One woman standing up, striving. She is like Israel. She's more Israel than the people in Israel. She's more striving than they are just accepting her place as a dog. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. But it all starts with this foreign, outside woman taking that risk. It all starts with this person being very brave. It all starts with this outsider demanding something different than what is laid out before her. Something different than the way the world is, than the stated even mission of Jesus is. Who is today this person bravely standing up for something different in our world? I could talk about many people. What comes to mind right away is Sandy Gagnon. She was here with Kisoboka, if I'm saying that correctly, Uganda. She's come and spoken to us. Back in 2008, she made her first trip to Uganda, and she didn't like the way things were. She said, this is not right. There's like no education. The highest grade level was grade 4. There's all these preventable diseases. People are dying quickly. Why is this happening? She became Israel. She became that woman arguing with Jesus. And she came and started talking to churches like our churches, and she touched our hearts. I was introduced to her first through Priscilla Elliott and others, and said, Eric, you got to listen to this person. She goes to other churches too. And today, with the support of all these churches, more than 600 people are in primary school in this town and high school, and some have gone on to college and trade school, and they have a medical center, all because she wanted something different than the way that she was striving. She was Israel. Today, who is this person standing up for something different in our world? I'm inspired by Julie. You know, that she's a heroine of the Commonwealth. Okay, and it's just, hey, Julie, in our own midst here. And so, a few years ago, there was a big rise in Asian hate and anti-Asian incidents, and I think some shootings, and it was just, and she was looking around and she said, no one's saying anything. You know, no one's reaching out, and different Asian people are isolated, and we have to change the situation. And I think you spoke out at vigil for one of the massacres, and you've been organizing events for people to learn more about the various Asian ways. Was it 20% of the town is?
Yeah, 18%.
18% is like a fifth of the town, and to get them out of their isolation too, back and forth. And your efforts were recognized by Representative Rogers, who gave you that nice certificate. Yes, yes. So we have a heroine of the Commonwealth in our midst here. So a person standing up for something different in the world, not accepting it here, but just like the woman at Jesus' feet that says, "You're calling me a dog, you know, even the dogs get the crumbs." And Jesus says, okay, we'll do something different. We'll do something different. Who is this person bravely standing up for something different in our world? Fiona. I'm really inspired by what you do with Morgan's message. It's really very inspiring to me, and I think you're also featured in the Belmont Voice. I think we have the articles for both of you outside here. This is amazing. We have a community with these incredible heroines among us, and people standing up. It's not comfortable to talk about mental health or suicides. I know your family's friends had a very tragic experience. Was it the daughter committed, the son committed suicide? And my heart still breaks for that. But it's so easy just to sweep that under and pretend that doesn't exist. Morgan's message focuses on a star athlete down at Duke who committed suicide. She was a Division I lacrosse star player. And so I think through various face painting activities and booths at games, and getting the word out there, and people are there to walk with you. You can talk about these things if you feel pressure. There's a lot of pressure. Fiona knows about pressure. There's cello, school, lacrosse, everything's going on. There's a lot of pressure in students' lives and in our lives, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to reach out for help. It's okay not to sweep it under the table anymore, but to do something about it, not to accept the way things are. Who is this person bravely standing up for doing things differently, Sandy, Julie, Fiona. I mean, God has placed these courageous people within our community. I'm just so honored to be a pastor of a community like this. Isn't this an amazing community with people that do things like this? I'm humbled to be the pastor here. Also of our community that's just so nurturing and caring. In the space of a week, our beloved longtime members Bill Hudgens and John Laster have died. Just so quick. It's been so quick. I'm still in shock. And so many of you have reached out to Kay and her family, to Cynthia and her family. Their lives upended so quickly and shredded. And our hearts break for you, Kay, and for your family, and for Cynthia and her family. And thank you for all of you who walk with them right now, who remember them with cards and phone calls and flowers. They are not alone. They're held in care right now. And I look at John and Bill, who I still can't believe are gone and have died. How they dared to give of themselves for this congregation over the years. Both have served countless hours, and Kate could probably attest, countless hours at meetings and council and finance and endowment. I think they both served on all these different committees. Both have a big heart for outsiders. Like the first picture I found of them, they're serving the hungry at the Bristol Lodge Food Kitchen in Waltham. They're there. And then when our finances were going out of whack, both Bill and John came to me and urged me to investigate what was going wrong. And when we uncovered all those decades of tax evasion, John and Bill were the two key people that were players in this very difficult time, a very difficult conversation. But they were so brave. In supporting our efforts to clean up this mess, to do justice with the IRS, but also to do compassion with the employees that were somehow caught up in this and to take care of them. And so, who takes a risk to stand up for doing things differently in the world? To stand up for God's justice and compassion? And I look to Bill and John. Just amazing people. What they were doing, guiding us through that. I'm humbled to be the pastor of a community with such brave people, such brave people. What an amazing community we are graced with daring hearts, brave souls. What an amazing God we have, nurturing us all to take these risks, to not stop if we're called an outsider or a dog, but to be Israel, to strive, to do something different. Thanks be to God for this, for Bill, for John, for all these amazing people. I'm so honored to be here today. Thanks be to God.